Welcome to Rangers Radio.
What a goal by Steely, followed that up, and whoop, in it goes.
Why not give the show a call on 01413561972.
Rangers up in the scoring, up in Tawdry, 12 minutes of the match remaining. A stunner from Kenny Miller, rifles it into the roof of the net.
Or send Fox a friend request on Skype at RangersRadio.online.
He's gone into the middle, McSwegan's in there too. Will he come for McSwegan? There's his header, and he scores! What a substitution! Running inside, is he gonna let flies in? He scores! Good ball! Scores for Rangers!
Nacho Lobo with one kick of the ball to take Rangers to Manchester. Rangers are coming! The Scots are heading for Manchester, and you know what? Manchester may not be big enough.
Remember, it's all about the Rangers.
Well, hello, good evening and welcome to Rangers Radio. Joining myself, Fox, here on the panel this evening is Jeff Holmes, one of the well-known Rangers journalists. Good evening, Jeff.
Hi there, Ox. How are you?
I'm all right, mate. All right. How's your day been?
It's actually been nice. Apart from the rain, it's been pretty good. But I'm inside now for the rest of the day, so happy days.
All right. Is that a scraper I see in your hand?
Actually, I've put the scraper down at the moment. This is a welcome break from getting paper off the walls. Stripping, as it's called.
All right. I've got a mate that's good at stripping called Fox, so if you want to let me know, I'll send him round. It's maybe a different kind of stripping.
Are the photos online?
Yes, they are. Right, Jeff,
okay.
Look, listen, thanks very much for taking the time to come on our show and speak about your sort of Rangers story and some of the books you've read. I didn't realise I had them to last night, if I've been honest.
Aye. Big impact.
Aye, I've read them, but you only read them once, mate. I'm sorry.
Of course.
You know, it's only my Bible I keep reading.
Right.
So, tell us a bit about yourself. I mean, I've obviously looked at some of the things you've done, but let the people know what you've done and how it's obvious your love about our club came about.
Born in 1960, facing Firhill, which wasn't a really good start. It was a very good start for a Rangers fan because my mum, my dad, my two brothers, one younger, one older, were all Thistle daft. And my brother stays in Blackpool and has done for about 30 years and is still a season ticket holder at Firhill. My young brother stays a bit closer, he's Partick, and he's a season ticket holder as well. So I was destined to be a Thistle fan, wasn't I? But I mean, one of the boys that ran about in Maryhill, we were about 10, and he came to a big family of Rangers fans, and he says we were sitting talking one night, and he says, "I'm going to the game on Saturday." I says, "Well, where are you going?" He says, Ayr United v Rangers, and it was 1970, and he says, "Do you want to come?" And I says, "Aye." I says, "But I've not got any money." He says, "Just get £1 off your ma." So this is when it was. Just get £1 off your ma. £1 off your ma, he says, "and that'll be fine." I says, "Right, okay." He says, and to get an idea of the times, it was a John Gregg Loyal, right, for Maryhill. So my mum, I mean, she was really skint. But I got the money and away I went, and we went into the match. And I honestly don't remember. I mean, I'm 6'4" now, but I don't know what height I was then because I couldn't see a thing. Don't remember an awful lot about it. Come back up the road and I'd won the sweep on the bus, which was £1. Now instead of saying to my mum, which any decent person would have done, "Here's your money back, mum," I went to the local chippy and got 2 10-bob notes and split it with my mate and gave us. So that was us. It was 50, equivalent of 50p then. But that done us for a few weeks, and I didn't tell my man. When she found out, she went mental and done me in. So I was barred for going to the games and all the rest of it. But then after a few weeks, she kind of relented, and I started going to Ibrox. But we didn't have any money, so what we would do is we would just walk from Maryhill, walk over to Ibrox, and get lifted over.
What would you do? Come down Byers Road into God's country?
Aye. No, I think no.
I'm a Partick boy.
Do you know what we did? We walked into the town. Oh. We walked into Glasgow city centre and then picked up eventually Paisley Road West and just walked right along there.
Okay.
And that's how we would go to home games because we it's not a hard luck story because it was just the way it was, you know. It was just the times, and that's what we'd do. It was a wee adventure, wasn't it? And I remember coming back to one particular game, and I can't remember what game it was, but it was in Glasgow City Centre. It was pouring through the heavens, and it sounds crazy, but I fell off the pavement. I was only about 11, and I went down right over my ankle, and I thought I'd broke my foot, and I could hardly move, so I didn't know how I was getting home. And it was a priest that stopped and gave me my bus fare up the road, and looked at my scarf and maybe thought about it, and then says, "No, I better help him. Biggins watching," and gave me money up the road, and that was sort of the first act of kindness that MD showed me. But I still continue to support Rangers. Didn't jump the dike.
That 10-year-old there, you're right in the middle of an interesting time for us. Celtic had won
absolutely
a few years in the trots, maybe a bit similar to today, but we were coming into building a new team who obviously came on in great success. Who was your heroes then as a 10, 11-year-old kid?
Definitely Colin Steen. I remember some of the first matches I went to as well was a European Cup Winners' Cup run, and I remember vividly, even I have a terrible memory of my childhood, and even anything unless it happened last week, but so probably not the best guest for the show, but I'll do my best. But I remember vividly going to that match, and there's been 80,000 at Ibrox. I was in an enclosure; it was packed. And then walking home that night after the match, and the Rangers fans were singing we were going to Barcelona. But Colin Steen was my absolute hero. I thought he was unbelievable. When I did a book signing for Jock Wallace, book signing in 2012, in the Rangers shop, and Colin Steen was there. And I'm sitting there with Colin Steen, Willie Johnson, Alec McDonald, all these guys, and I'm thinking, what's happening here? You know, this is the people I watched when I was 10, 11, 12, and obviously didn't go to Barcelona because I was too young. But I remember STV showed it in a delayed transmission at 10 p.m. that night, and I'm sitting, asked my mum if I could stay up late. She was well over the pound and no telling her about the pound fare United, so she let me stay up late, and I'm sitting in the seat watching my black and white telly with scarves tied around my wrist. You know, it's just.
Well, the days when Jeff, I don't think any of the youngsters could comprehend that A, a European final wouldn't be on live, and B, that you would have games everybody waiting for delayed transmission to watch a game. Because I vividly remember the same thing, and my father, who couldn't make Barcelona, but him coming rushing in to watch the delayed transmission.
That's right. I think it was about 10, wasn't it? It was probably about 10 o'clock at night it was on, because I was 11, so I was allowed to stay up and watch it, which was great. And I remember that the semi-final night, I mean, I'm sure Celtic were playing in Milan that night, and, and they had a packed house.
That penalty's still in orbit, mate. Dixie Deans' penalty.
Has it just hit Tom Rodgers' penalty? But I think that was Dixie Deans, wasn't it? Because they were singing. It just shows you how news travelled, because I remember walking along Paisley Road West after that game and them singing, and the older fans singing about Dixie Deans. I didn't have a clue what they were talking about, but they were singing about Dixie Deans and walks like a woman and he wears a bra, I think it was. Maybe it was nothing to do with the penalty. Maybe it was just pure chance. But that was a great night. You know, there's some nights that stick out watching Rangers, and I know that was right at the start of my Rangers career, if you like, but that was exceptional. And we were, as you say, we were brought up that way. We weren't getting a lot of success, and in fact, I was by the time of the European Cup final, I was a regular at Ibrox, even though I was only 11, just going over myself. And you went to games, and I do remember their games being only 4,000 and 5,000 there, midweek games. You're talking only a few weeks before the European Cup Winners' Cup final, and Rangers crowds at that time were horrendous.
Because we won the challenge in the league, weren't we?
Of course we were. That's right. Fourth in the league, I think, that year, or something like that. But it was good. It was good times, and maybe that took the pressure a wee bit off Wally Waddle and saying that. I think Wally Waddle chucked it after that. Yeah. And Big Jock got the gig. So it was great for Waddle, because his long association with Rangers, he was able to bow out with a major trophy.
Yeah, what a major trophy it was. So we moved into Big Jock's era, and little did you know that I'm going to say a generation later, but it would be a bit more than that. You'd be writing a book about Big Jock.
Incredible. Aye.
You know, what were your thoughts when you were writing that book? Because you're obviously thinking back to your young man.
Well, absolutely. But I was 16 when I got a job in Scottish television, January '77. And I don't know if you've read the Jock Wallace book, but there's quite a personal introduction or forward to it, and it was myself meeting Jock when I was in STV, and I remember the security man. I used to keep an autograph book at that time when I was 16, 17, 18, because they used to get a lot of big stars in it at that time. And I remember the security man saying to me, "Oh, the Rangers team are coming in today." This just shows you, doesn't it? You know, all the small clubs even now video their matches, and the players can watch the matches and the managers. But in those days, the old firm would come into STV if they wanted to watch a European opponent ahead of the game, and they would book the conference room in STV. STV would supply them with, you know, tea and coffee and stuff, and they would pay a fee. And I remember standing there open mouth as the players, Sandy Jardine, John Gregg, a lot of them were coming in. I'm standing there, and I was just in awe. And then Jock Wallace, for some reason, was one guy I always had a lot of time. He's just a real Rangers man, wasn't he? And he was late, and I remember the taxi stopping right outside the STV front door, running in for the taxi, grabbing his coat because it was quite windy, and me stopping him and saying, "Can I have your autograph, please, Mr. Wallace?" And I'm saying, "Aye, son, aye." And he stopped, even though he was in this massive hurry, and he says, "Did you get the boys? Did you get all the boys as they come in?" I said, "I've seen them come in." He went, "Did you get the autograph?" I says, "No, I didn't want to ask." And he says, "But so what did you ask me for?" You know, and he was having a laugh with me. And he took me into the conference room and delayed the start of this transmission to watch this foreign opponent. And I went to know the players and got the autograph, and he's like, "Right, come on, sign the book for the wee laddie," and stuff like that. And he was just such a endearing character. I know he had a gruff side where he always came across as quite intimidating, but I didn't see that side that day at all.
I think with Jock Wallace, what you've seen is what you get. When you met him,
definitely,
he was a nice guy, but you wouldn't have liked to have crossed him, would you?
No. Of course, I wasn't. I mean, I've had gaffers all my life that I thought weren't very nice people, but other guys in other departments would say, "Oh, he's a nice guy," and I would say, "Oh, no," until you've worked under him. So it's just the same, isn't it? It's just the same as a job.
Job.
Aye, absolutely. But he was fantastic, and I was really sad when it never worked out for him second time around. But his first time at Rangers was just. I think we won 2 trebles under Jock, and one of them I think was we clinched the league at Easter Road, and I remember being in the terracing facing the main stand, and it was just this big massive wide terracing, and it was packed. And then I think it was Colin Steen scored with a diving header.
I think that was 75. That was 75.
Was that 75?
And then 76 we won the treble, and 78 we won the treble.
Right, so we won the league that year when Colin Steen scored, but not the treble.
That's right. We won the treble the next year. Yeah.
Right.
I'm
trophies galore, wasn't it?
I'm quite sad, mate. But
that's great. I'm so glad you know.
That was a purple patch with Big Jock's team, and it came to an end quite abruptly. But then you'd be getting a bit older, and did you realise that journalism was going to be and writing books was something that you would have a passion for?
Well, I always liked writing, and I was always interested. The 2 things I always liked when I was a kid, growing up and going to football, was collecting football programmes and getting a programme for the match. And sorry,
me also.
I think it's a great thing. And also, I would go home, and my dad was living with us at the time, and he would say he was always encouraging me, you should write. But then when I went to school, and I went to North Kelvinside School in Maryhill, and first couple of years was fine. Second couple of years I just got fed up with it and wasn't interested in the slightest. And suddenly the A's in first year and second year were F's or whatever they were, and I left school. I mean, no qualifications, thinking, and then writing was the furthest thing from my mind. But when I got the job at STV, I was working in the general stores with the drivers, just a boy, In fact, the way I got that job's quite interesting because I wasn't really interested in getting a job. I'd left school in June, I think it was 1976, or probably left a wee bit before that. And my mate, his mum had been on it, get a job. So in those days, it was down to the careers office in Bath Street, where you just sat there and they shouted you in. So I said to my mate, "I'll come down with you." So we're sitting in the waiting room, and the guy comes out, "Who's next?" So my mate went in. This other guy comes out, "Right, who's next?" And I just ignored him, and he says, "You." I says, "No, I'm not here for a job." He went, "Oh, you don't want to work?" I went, "No, really, no." And he says, and he grabbed me by the shoulder, and he went in the office and he put me up the arse. It was a bit bizarre now, isn't it? And I says, "Okay." And I sat down, and he says, "What do you want to be?" And I says, "A painter and decorator." He went, "Why?" And I was so honest, and he says, why do you want to be a painter and decorator? I says, it's the first thing I thought of. Right? And he says, oh, you're smart, I like you, eh? And I says, no, I've just never thought about a job. Right, okay. And he says, what they did was they put us through. They sent quite a few of my mate as well to Barmuller College and put us through this course. It was sort of designed to get you ready for life, and it was a wee bit of this and a wee bit of that, and we did a wee bit of weld and a wee bit of this, and that was okay. You know, it was fine. I wasn't dead lazy and really didn't want to work. I just had never thought of it. Quite a slow thinker. So we went to Barmuller College, and then I get a phone call 3 months later for the careers office, same guy, get an interview for a job as a painter, a job as a maintenance painter with this firm. You interested? I says, aye, okay. How's your course going at Barmuller College? I says, it's going fine. And the teacher was great, and he would give us talks about this and say, right, you're all going to be going for interviews. If you go for an interview and they ask you if you like football, say you support Partick Thistle, then it shows you're no one way or the other, and you're not going to be any trouble. Right? And I says, right, okay, that's fine. So gets this interview for this maintenance painter. I wasn't really interested, so I didn't get the job. Guy for the careers office phones up, gets me in again 2 days later. Get a job as a maintenance painter on STV. Now, I want you to come in and see me before it. He says, because the guy that did your last interview says, you weren't interested. So he got me in and he gave me a pep talk, and I went for this job. And I remember there was three management interviewing for this maintenance painter's job. And he says, one of them says to me, have you any interest? I says, I like sport. Do you like football? I says, He went, who do you support? I says, Rangers. He went, oh, we've got a job here for you, son. Right? Now, I forgot. I was supposed to say Partick Thistle. So after the interview, he says, congratulations, son, welcome to Scottish Television. He says, now, do you go to the games? I says, He says, do you go to the away games? I says, I go to all the games. He went, that's great. He says, I don't manage to the games anymore. He says, but I still collect the programmes. Do you think you could get me a programme for the away games? And I says, absolutely. I says, is that the only reason I'm getting the job? He went, aye, probably. And I ended up in there for 25 years. And this manager was great, and he was a big blue nose. And the other guy that was sitting in the panel was called Sean McGee. So I'm glad he didn't have much say in it, because obviously I might not get the job. But so I ended up in there for a while. I moved into the stage department, and then I was working in dramas, doing all that sort of thing. And that was when one of the women that worked in the same department, her daughter worked at the Sun, and I had been really showing an interest again. I think I was in my 20s, and I'd been showing an interest again. And this girl got me an interview with the sports editor at the Sun. It was a guy called Steve Wilson-Croft at the time, a Geordie chap. And I went down and met him, and he says to me, oh, there's no openings for football. He says, is there anything else you can do? I says, I quite like Speedway. So he says, why don't you get Speedway match reports? And I thought, well, it's a good way to learn the trade. Getting into the pits after the match, and after the meeting, and interviewing the riders and interviewing the managers, and it's much the same thing. It's right after the action, and it's quite a heated thing, Speedway at times. So it was quite good. So I started with that, and I ended up with a column in the Sun and stuff. And then I went to the Evening Times to do Speedway. But I wanted to do football, so I just phoned Bill by the horns and phoned them up one day and said, look, can I cover matches for you? And the lassie says, aye, no bother. So I started doing third division and second division matches, and sort of worked my way up.
So that's how it just all came about, and that life.
Aye.
You couldn't have thought that would have took the next thing, you're writing books.
Well, I just had this passion for writing. What I would do is I was always wanting to write features, and I always thought features was my best thing rather than hard news. So I've written a lot of features, and I could write long features. And the first book I wrote was the history of football in Newton Mearns, 1877 to 2003. Now,
why did that come about? Why
by Christ, well, I moved it to Newton Mearns, and I've also got an interest in junior football. And somebody had mentioned to me in the past that there used to be a junior football team in 1870 or 1880s called the Mearns Pollock Castle Sharks, which I thought was a bit radical for that age, for the 19th century. So I went into the library in Barhead and researched it, and then it turned out that they'd had a senior team for 2 years in Mearns, and one of the guys that were playing, I can't remember who they were playing, but I think it was Renton or something, and they played this team, and one of the guys for the Mearns team got killed, getting kneed in the groin and died that night. So that sort of piqued my interest a wee bit, and that was how the whole thing of rough play came about in Scottish football in the 19th century. That was when they decided, look, a lot of the guys for the league sat down and thought, we're going to have some rules here because everybody's just going about kicking lumps at each other. And every time there was a match between Mearns Pollock and Thornley Bank, who were the massive rivals now. Thornley Bank were in the big league at the time and were playing Leeds, Rangers and Celtic. But every time there was a match between Mearns and Thornley Bank people had to lock up their daughters because the Mearns people, or the mad farmers, were getting down and we drinking them and causing havoc and running in the park and batting the referee. So it's a bit role reversal now, but it's getting them back. But so that I had a real interest.
You tell me that Newton Mearns was rougher than Thornley Bank then, is that what you're saying?
Newton Mearns was rougher than Postle. I'm telling you. I had stayed in Postle for 4 years. But that was... Newton Mearns was apparently awful at that time. And what they did was their home park was down off the Barhead Road and it was next to a burn. And if they get beat, they used to throw the other players in the burn. Their position. So there was hardly anybody would go and play them because they were so rough. So they must have been bonkers at the time. So that was, I've just got a keen interest in any football stories that are interesting.
Aye.
And that's why I think I can recognise when I can get the best. I think I can get the best out interview subjects because I've got a real interest in what they're saying to me, rather than just writing a book for money or doing,
You've obviously got a passion for the game when you've covered junior football, you've done the history of Scottish football. So when you started writing the books, did you know or did you see that you were going to be writing books for heroes and looking into Rangers history, in some people's eyes, the greatest ever Ranger, Davy Meiklejohn, but did you see that coming or did it just come?
I didn't. No, I didn't. I didn't ever. I was asked to do a book in the history of Scottish television for the first 50 years, and I did that, and I did the Mearns book. I did a book about Mary Hill Juniors, who's my junior team, and did I ever see myself writing? I mean, I'm just about finished the Mark Walters book, did a book for Marco Negri. I've been asked to do, a lot of books for ex-players and guys. Even I was supposed to do one for Lee Wallace as well. So did I ever see myself doing that? No, I didn't think I'd ever reach that sort of height, because I suppose at the end of the day, we are the most famous club in the world. In fact, my grandson was staying with me last night and he said to me, "Do you know what happens, Grandpa, if you Google who's the most famous club in the world, or who's the most successful club in the world?" And I had an idea, and he said, "Which is?" And he did it, and it came up Rangers. And you think, that's the level we're at. That's the level. That's how it's so hard for us to take what's happening just now. But when I did the Davy Meiklejohn book, I was working at the Daily. I got a staff job at the Paisley Daily Express as a news reporter. But I would stand in for the sports guy. So I worked there for about 6-7 years. But the last 3 years were spent at the Daily Record as they had taken us over. So we shut the Paisley office and moved to the Daily Record at Anderson. So the last 3 years were spent there, and they've got this unbelievable archive that has every single edition ever of the Daily Record, the Sunday Mail, or these papers. So I would come in every morning. I started at 9, but I'd come in every morning at 7 and start researching. And I think the reason I started researching Davy Meiklejohn was being up Rangers for that many games on a Sunday now that on a Saturday I'll go and see Mary Hill, and I was up in the Mary Hill club one day in for a pint at half time, and there was a huge photo of Davy Meiklejohn on the wall, and it says Davy Meiklejohn, Mary Hill and Rangers, and I said, so I was talking to the guy behind the bar, and I says, Davy Meiklejohn played for Mary Hill. He says, I don't really think it was that long. So I started, when I went into work on the Monday, I started researching it a wee bit and looking at it. And I started finding it quite interesting that they had, in fact, that the transfer fee was I think it was a ball in a corrugated iron fence that Mary Hill got. And I thought, it's quite interesting. So I started looking into it, and I realised just how important the players then were treated, how respectful and how dignified, and you never heard anything about the players getting into any kind of trouble or whatever. I know that modern times things change, but they just all seemed so proud to wear that club blazer or the shirt on a Saturday afternoon. Let's face it was a Saturday afternoon then. And,
3 o'clock.
So I started. It took me about 1.5 years to research Davy Meiklejohn, because obviously I didn't know anything about him, and I didn't know anybody that had seen him play. And it was just, I just loved it. I just loved every minute of it. And I thought after it, I felt I knew quite a lot about him after it, because I had read I read just about every match report that he'd ever played in. I'd read every feature written about him. I'd read all the news items, and I reckoned that he's, I wouldn't say easily the greatest Rangers ever, because we've had so many fantastic players. But I mean, I watched John Greig and I thought John Greig was good. But I think it's obviously the reason we voted John Greig the greatest ever Ranger is just because he's living memory. You know, it's really hard for somebody to vote for somebody that they've never seen. But having did the research I did, I thought that Miko John was fantastic. And through researching Davy Miko John, I got a really keen interest in Sam English, and I researched Sam English for about a year, and travelled all over to research him. I've been down at Liverpool, been down at Darlington, his other teams and stuff. Hartlepool. And I reckon if what happened to Sam English hadn't happened, I reckon he would easily have been Rangers' greatest ever goal scorer. He seemed to have so many fantastic. See the qualities he had, Doc. So he was quite small. I think he was about 5'7", but he could jump really high and head the ball. He could hit the ball with either foot. His greatest asset was one of his greatest assets was his speed and his balance inside the box. You know, to sometimes a player always off balance and he puts it 20 yards over the bar. Don't get me wrong, he missed a lot, like every player. But he came over from Northern Ireland when he was about, I don't know, he was about 10 or something. I think in Wikipedia it says he was 16, but he was a lot younger than that. And he got a job here, and he did a bit of schooling here. But he started playing junior football for Port Glasgow, and him and his brother were playing, and he scored a few goals. But he went to Yoker, and he had 3 years at Yoker, and I think it was 231 goals he scored in 3 seasons. Now, the junior football then was a much better standard than junior football now, because you had players that were. I mean, Sam English stepped. He played a cup final for Yoker in the June, and signed for Rangers the following week, and played his first game at the first week in August, and scored a couple of goals again. He scored a couple of goals in his debut. A couple of weeks later, he scored 5 against Morton. You know, that's unheard of. I know Bobby Russell came right from Shettleston Juniors, but that's unheard of now. So that the juniors then, they were getting 9, 10, 11,000 crowds, a lot of the teams, and they really were a good standard. So for English to score, 230 odd goals in 3 seasons, I thought was phenomenal. You know, he's scoring 6 and 7 in games against really good teams. So he was a cut above, and he stepped right into the number 9 shirt, no problem, and filled it, and just started scoring goals. It was his first season that he scored 44 league goals, which has never ever been beaten. Jim Forrest came close and Ali McCoy's came close, but that's it. Nobody's ever came close.
Obviously, the game's changed a lot, but you can only play in the era that you're fortunate enough to play in. But I think that's a fair comment. I think sometimes because there's no YouTube clips, there's no highlights on any television, you forget that the people say pre-war are an important part of our history.
That's right. When was Sam English played? 1930. I think he only played for Rangers for 2 seasons. The first season was obviously the tragedy with the Celtic goalkeeper John Thompson, and then the second season he was kind of in and out of the team, but he still scored about 20 goals all in. I think he scored 53 his first season. I mean, his first season stepping right out of the juniors to play for Rangers, who were the best team in the world at the time. I don't think anybody will argue about that. And to score 53 goals. Sorry?
Still are.
53 goals stepping right out of the juniors. I mean, that's incredible. MD's book. And I reckon if that hadn't happened to him, then we'd have been looking at Sam English playing with Rangers for his entire senior career, and setting an amount of goals that even Super Ali would have struggled to get by. But
for those who don't know, Sam English scored 70 goals for our club in 79 games.
Pretty decent, eh?
No bad.
No bad. But then you look at guys like I'm sure we'll talk about the Rangers in Russia book in a wee while, and that was when I got to know about Ralph Brand, another great striker for Rangers. Jim Forrest, another great striker who was apparently binned after the Berwick disaster. Blame for that one. But researching Davy Miko John was a joy, because I remember Rangers went over to America on tour, and he stepped off the plane, and the American journalists come over and they introduced him as the greatest football player in the world and things like that, and they knew all about him. Now, it must have only been through newspapers, because I don't think there was any other medium in these days. Maybe the radio, whatever. I don't know how much football was covered in the radio, but Michael John was known the world over in the 1920s. He was known the world over. So to me, that speaks volumes for how good he was. And I hope that the book came across as me not preaching to people and saying, by the way, Davy Meiklejohn's the best ever. John Greig wasn't, because it wasn't about that. It was just about Davy Meiklejohn. And after that, I got asked by Tory Gillick's family to write a book on him, but I just didn't have the time. So
these are names that for a certain generation, like we're similar ages, that you'd heard for your grandfathers and maybe your fathers who'd see them at the back end of their career if they were fortunate enough. But for any of the young boys that's listening, these are the guys that helped establish their club as the greatest in the world, mate.
Absolutely. Couldn't put it any better myself. Absolutely.
So what I'm saying to the young guys is get your book about Davy Meiklejohn and read it and see how our club ended up where it is.
That's right. Absolutely.
What was the first Rangers book you wrote?
I think it might have been the Jock Wallace book. Right. Now, the reason I say that is because the publisher I had, I remember thinking I'd like to write a book on Rangers, and I was researching Davy Meiklejohn, and I'd researched the Jock Wallace book first, and I was writing it, and that was fine, and then I started researching Davy Meiklejohn stuff. And I'm like that. I'm working in 3 books at the same time. That's just the way I like to, because I get sort of fed up writing about the same thing all the time. So I like to keep it fresh. And I started writing about Davy Meiklejohn. And then I spoke to a publisher, and they'd says, "Oh, we'll publish a book." And they'd says to me, they phoned me up and says, "Is that Jock Wallace book nearly ready yet? Because I believe somebody else is writing a book on Jock Wallace. So do you want to hurry up and get it finished?" And I says, "Aye, okay." So I just sort of shelved the Davy Meiklejohn one, and about 6 weeks before the Jock Wallace book was finished, I was down at Berwick covering a match for one of the papers, and I was covering the match with a guy called Fraser Elder, who's a sort of elder statesman and sports journalist. Fraser, cracking wee guy, and he said to me, he says, "I believe you're writing a book on Jock Wallace." I says, "Aye, that's right." He says, "Have you been in touch with the family?" I says, "No." I says, "I believe the family, there's none of the family live in Scotland anymore. His son's in Spain and his daughter's down south, and his widow's over in Spain as well." He says, I've holidayed with him a couple of times. He says, "If you want me to put in touch." I says, "That would be great." So about a week later, Jock's son, John, got in touch with me, and he says, "I believe you're writing a book about my father," and he spoke to me about it, and I says, "Aye." I says, "I've did a lot of research," and I told him a few of the anecdotes that I was putting in it, and he says, "Oh, it sounds really good." He says, "Have you got any family photographs?" I says, "No." He says, "Would you like some?" And I was like, "This is fantastic." So he emailed me all his dad's photographs from when he was in the army, when he was a kid, when he was playing for a school team and all that. But now I thought that was really fantastic. And then he offered, we decided we were going to have the lunch in the Rangers shop on the night of the Ayr United game in 2014.
That was quite up to you. Ayr United again.
There you go. Aye, there's a pattern emerging here. Do you remember we played them when we were in League One? I think it was. We played them on a Tuesday night near the end of the season. I think off the top of my head it was April 2014. And I'd says I wanted to give half the profits to the former Rangers Players Benevolent Fund, because I think they're a really good cause, because it's all the guys that I watch, but before they get the big bucks. So to qualify to be a member of that organisation or that club, you've got to have that charity. You've got to have played before 1986, before Souness came. So Colin Jackson was running it, and so I got in touch with Colin Jackson, and Colin and his wife Pam were organising it. I said, "Look, I'd like to give half the profits." So they were over the moon, and then they said, Colin says, "Well, are you going to do a book signing?" And he says, "No, I'll come along and I'll get a few of the guys to come along." I says, "I hadn't really thought about it." I says, "But I'll do something near the time." So I got in touch with him again, and I says, "Look, we could maybe do something at the Rangers shop." So I went to the Rangers shop, asked to see the manager, and they come over to this guy Steve, and I said to him, look, I want to hold a book signing in here. Nah, I don't think so. I says, no, I'd really like to hold a book signing and I'm getting half the Barcelona Bears team. Right, okay. And there was a little enthusiasm, and I thought, it's probably about the start of a sports director running at the time, and it was the usual, trying to get everything in there. And I said, look, I'll spoke to Colin Jackson and Colin Steen, and I hadn't really taken in at this point, Ox, that this was the kind of stature of the guys that was coming, and it was Colin Steen and Willie Johnson, Ali McDonald, Tom Forsyth, Colin Jackson, all these people. And he was really unenthusiastic, and I said, and eventually got him to agree, and he says, when do you want to do it? I says, I want to do it in the night of the United. Oh no, we don't do book signings on the night of games. I thought, Christ, how many obstacles can you put in somebody's way? But I kept talking him on, and he came round, and he ended up really, really good and really helpful. He was fantastic. And he said, right, okay, we can put a table over there, and how many are you expecting in? And he says, we'll get 50 books in. I says, oh, you probably need more than that. I eventually talked him into taking 125 books, and he sold out halfway through the book signing, which I thought was a shame. But the place was packed out, and it's do you know what? It doesn't matter how many book signings you have. You always worry that nobody's going to turn up, and it doesn't matter who you've got there. If you've got John Gregg or Colin Steen or Ali McCoist or whatever, any of Richard Gough or greatest players, you still worry nobody's going to turn up. But it was packed out. It was fantastic, and a lot of journalists came and for the papers, and Sky Sports News came, and so it was really, really good. But they sold out of books, and they didn't even get any in for the following Saturday for the Stranraer game, which I think may have been the last game of the season. So that was disappointing. But it was exciting the way it all went. And that was, so I started forging a wee relationship with Colin Jackson, and we did a few book signings for a couple of different books, and profits were going to the former players fund.
Brilliant.
Just about 6 weeks before I actually finished writing the book, a phone call to a mate of mine who does a bit of sponsorship with Rangers, and he says to me, what are you doing? I says, I'm working. I was working in the Daily Record at the time, and he says, come along to the Hilton. And I says, I'm working. I says, it was about 10 o'clock in the morning, it was Tuesday morning or something. He says, get yourself along to the Hilton. He went, I'll meet you at reception. So I says to the editor, I says, listen, I'm going to have to go to the dentist. I says, I've got really bad toothache. He says, oh, aye. He says, that just come on all of a sudden. I says, aye. I says, it kind of happens with me. It just comes on all of a sudden. So I runs along to the Hilton. It wasn't far up for the work, and he said, right, okay, come on. They took me up to the suite, and there was a whole Barcelona team sitting, and they were signing things. It was a corporate thing, and he said, right, I've spoke to them all, and you can interview them off of your Jock Wallace book. So that was fantastic. I'd already spoke to a lot of people, a lot of ex-players with Jock, and I tracked down for Nicky Walker, a few players that played for Leicester and players that played for these different teams. I had a few for Rangers, but getting this, I mean, sitting in a room with, so Colin Jackson's wife brought them all out one by one for me. Who do you want next? I says, I think I'll have Colin Steen next, right? And then I'll have Willie Johnson, then Tommy McLean, then Willie Matheson, and I'm saying, and I sat and interviewed every one of these guys, and John Gregg was the last out, and it was just, so it meant that the book had, contributions from all these guys in it, which was just, for me, having sat and watched these guys as an 11-year-old in my house at 10 o'clock at night and delayed transmission, and then you're sitting in the room with them all again, it's becoming a bit of a habit.
Can I just read you something? Obviously, I've been a bit of digging the last few days and looking at stuff. I'm just going to read you a review of Jock Wallace's book, and it's not for yourself, it's for the people out there. And this is for a guy called Douglas G. Connor, I found, and it says, one of the best football books I've read. A great read and gives a fantastic insight into a Rangers managerial legend, Jock Wallace's life. A must-read for every Rangers fan, as the author captures Jock's true grit and determination throughout his life and career with some good insights from former GR legends, all in a brilliant book.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, so
it's really nice to hear something like that, because that's what you do it for, isn't it? That's why you do these things. You do them first and foremost because you've got a passion for writing and because it's your team. But then obviously you want to do as well as you can, and if you can get across what somebody actually meant, I think it's when I wrote that book, I interviewed Alex Totten, who was Jock's assistant. Yeah. I went through to Falkirk to interview Alex, and we sat we sat in one of the hospitality suites with a cup of tea, and there was a youth team game on the park. At the time, it was a really nice setting, and we're talking away. And after it, I says, "There's my card, Alex." I says, "Thanks very much." I says, "If there's ever anything I can do for you," I says, "There's my card, give me a shout." And he phoned me about 3 or 4 weeks later, and he said to me, "Would you consider writing a book for me?" And I says, "Absolutely." I says, "What I'll do," I says, I'll come through and see you once I finish this one. I'll come through and see you, and then if we think there's a story," I says, "there's got to be a story, then we'll go ahead." And I went through and spoke to Alex, and he was a fantastic guy. He was really, really nice. And he said to me, "I started my career at Liverpool in the very early 60s, and we used to go to the Cavern Club at nights, and we met the Beatles, and he had this fantastic story to tell. His playing career, his managerial career, and afterwards, and obviously he was a Falkirk boy at heart, but he was Rangers. He was a big Rangers fan, and his son and his grandson are still season ticket holders at Ibrox. So I've got a real friendship going with Alex, and I meet him once a month, and we go and have lunch. And after the book came out, we did a lot of signings and stuff, and it went really, really well. And he would sit there and we'd go for lunch, and he sat and he would read me some texts about friends of his and people that have read the book, and then they've texted him to tell him how they thought it was. And one guy said, "I was just finished your book, Alex." He said, "I thoroughly enjoyed it." He says, "It was just like listening to you speak." And that was it for me. That was it for me, because that is what you try and do. That is what you try and capture. If you write a book, especially about somebody, because you're writing it in their voice, then if somebody comes into you after it and says, "That was just like listening to Alex Totten," then that's the sort of ultimate pat in the back I can get. Fine, you want it to be interesting and all the rest of it, but I read a review a book a few weeks ago, and it was the big guy Carlton Palmer that played for Sheffield Wednesday in England, and apparently it was a top academic that wrote his book, and the review completely slated the book, and it said it might be the best written book in the history of books. He went, "But would Carlton Palmer have said this?" And it comes away with these sentences that have got these massive words in it, right? And I didn't have a clue what they meant. And I'm not saying for a minute, because I don't know Carlton Palmer, but people in general in life don't speak like that. And you've got to try and just write the way they would speak to a certain extent. I know you can't, because people speak slang or whatever, but to come away with things like that, now, there's no point in writing that. But to me, a lot of people simply aren't going to buy that book now because of the bad review. But the bad review, I think, has been earned, because that author has only been thinking about himself when he's been writing that book. He hasn't been thinking, right, I'm Carlton Palmer just now, so I've got to... It's like me doing the Mark Lawler's book just now. I'm constantly trying to write the way Mark would speak. Would they say this? Would they say that? Would they say, "All right, wee man"? No, I don't think so. So you've just got to try and get their voice across. And when I was told I did that with Alex Totten, that was the ultimate accolade for me.
Brilliant. So you've done the Jock Wallace, if you like, covers the sort of late 70s, early 80s, well, the mid 80s as well, when Jock came back the second time, and then we come into the moment it maybe changed our club back to where we were, because we were having a bad run there when a Mr. Graham Souness walked in the door.
Absolutely.
And you wrote a book about that. The Rangers Revolution, and it was a revolution. That was a golden period, and it was so exciting, mate. I don't think that people could comprehend. And who would think that an ex-Liverpool captain who'd won the European Cup, who wasn't managing, would walk in the door and be the manager at Ibrox? Do you think that could ever happen?
Oh, never. These things, lightning never strikes twice in the one place, eh?
You never know.
Aye. It's a good point, aye.
What a season. So exciting. There's one game sticks in my mind, and it's going to, apart from the game at Pittodrie that I had the pleasure to be at, but it was at Tannadice. I think Dave McPherson scored a goal, and I don't think it hit the back of the net. And that was when the excitement really started to build when we went on and won the league. That I think it was about 5 or 6 games to go or something like that. And Dundee United were a smashing side then, and we beat them 1-0. And that, for me, if I'm thinking back now from memory, it was a springboard But what a season that was, and what a book, by the way. I've got it, and that was one of the ones I've discovered last night.
Thanks very much,
aye. Brilliant read, and I can recommend it to any Rangers fan who likes a bit of history, mate. But how was it writing that book? Because Souness, what a character.
Well, the first thing I thought, Ox, was I was going to write the book on the season. Then I thought, no, why write it? Why not write the book about the year? Because it was a year or two halves, wasn't it? It was just about 1986, and 1986 started, with Jock and Alec Totten in charge, and Alex Totten still says to me to this day, if that board had gave money, they gave the money to Big Jock the way they gave it to Souness, then he reckons he could have done just as good a job. But that's up for discussion, isn't it? That's hypothetical. So it was good to get the contrast between. Let's be honest, we were struggling as much as you like Big Jock and Alec Totten. We were really struggling, with players like David Cooper on the team and all that. But we were really Bobby Russell, but we were struggling. It needed somebody to come in. It needed somebody to come in and say, "This is the way we've got to do things now. This is the way we've got to do things. I'm going to bring a touch of." He just came from Italy, hadn't he? He was playing over in Sampdoria. Let's bring a touch of class to this, and let's bring in some real quality players to supplement the ones that were. I mean, no disrespect to the guys that. A lot of the guys that were playing at that time, but as soon as Souness came in, they just thought, right, we don't need this. If he can replace certain people with Chris Woods and Terry Butcher and Graham Robertson, guys, Mark Walters, guys like that, and keep the guys like Durant and McCoy and that are doing your turn, then you're going to have a cracking team, aren't you? You're going to have a great team. And Souness knew what he was doing, didn't he? I mean, he might have come in as an absolute rookie manager, and to be playing as well. To be playing. I mean, who doesn't remember that's old enough playing Hibs in the first game at Easter Road?
I think it was a yellow and a red. We never touched them.
George McCluskey was play acting, allegedly. And I remember I was in the main. Oh, he was just phenomenal. I mean, and I think that's the book the story's in about Scott Nisbet, isn't it? And when he gets sent, and Big Nizzy told me, he says when Souness gets sent off, he says, Walter Smith says to me, going into the dressing room and make sure he's okay. He says he's no smashing the place up. And Nizzy went, me? He was on the bench. He went, I get in there and make sure he's no smashing the place up. And he says, I stood outside the dressing room. I didn't want to go in. He says, because you're this. And to me, that's just, Souness was just this massive, massive character, wasn't he? It was as if he walked about with a glow in him. He had this aura. And I think it's in that book where I was there the day, met him the day he turned up at the Ibrox for the first time, because I was working in the STV and Jim White did a documentary on him at Sampdoria not that long before it, and they became really good pals. And as soon as I said to Jim, look, if there's ever anything, I'll give you the wire. And I was working on building the Wheel of Fortune set that day in the studio, and Jim came in and says, come on over to Ibrox, I need you to come over to Ibrox, maybe we've got a job. And the gaffer says, aye, on you go. And it was Alex Totten who met us at the front door, funny enough, and took us up to the Blue Room, and we waited in the Blue Room. The rest of the crew were away for something to eat, and Souness arrived, and Totten brought him in, and it was just me, Jim White and Souness, and we had this wonderful conversation in the Blue Room, just the three of us, and Souness turned around to me and says, how do you think the fans will react if I sign a Catholic? Because Jim had introduced me as, this is Jeff, he works in STV, but he runs a Rangers supporters club, he runs a Rangers supporters team, blah, blah, blah. So he was picking my brains. And then 2 years later, when he signed Mo Johnson, I thought, oh, he took my advice, didn't he? but he was a cracking guy to speak to. In fact, he's done the foreword for the Mark Walters book, so I spoke to him a fortnight ago for that as well, which was an absolute disaster, because he phoned me up. Phone went, and I seen it was him, and my dictaphone wouldn't work. And I'm trying to get my but you know that way you're on the phone, but you're concentrating on something else, and he must have thought, who am I talking to here? And I said, aye, Graham, it's you, aye. Hang on. And I'm trying to press this button, and I'm trying to get this to work. He's like, hello? I says, aye, Mark Walters, eh? Aye. And he must have been like, who is this guy? So eventually I got it working, and we were able to have a decent conversation, and I got some great stuff off him for the foreword, but it's just a guy that
1986 season, let's be really honest about it. If that hadn't happened, Scottish football might have died. Souness dragged the whole thing by by the bootstraps and dragged it up, and he did drag the other team's ways, whether we like it or not, and I don't think they would appreciate that, but all the teams maybe owe something to Graham Souness.
They would never admit it, but
no,
never. And do you know the one thing I realised from delving into the history to research Davy Meiklejohn or Sam English or any of these guys, the one thing that was a constant in the early days of Rangers was how many benefit matches they played for Scottish teams that were struggling financially. And I'm talking every Scottish team that was struggling financially. They did it for Celtic as well. Now I know it. Listen, maybe 100 years ago, but it's the same club, and the amount of matches we played so that clubs wouldn't go bust is actually something I thought about maybe looking at in the future, just because I've been so angry about what's happened in the last 6 years, and how they were all quick to put the boot in and put us down, and yet it was only due to Rangers that half of these clubs stayed afloat earlier in their history. So
it even happened this week again, isn't it? When somebody's thinking they've been clever cutting the Rangers supporters allocation.
Right.
But that's a whole subject on its own, isn't it?
You know, you could start whenever you want, but you could start 6 years ago and you could fill a few volumes, because it's just been so, a lot has just been so petty as well. But especially, it's just the timing of things. It's the timing of Celtic play Hibs at Easter Road. Celtic can win the league if they win. Celtic get the whole stand. Hibs beat Celtic, which means Celtic can win the league against Rangers. And then Hibs announced that they're going to only give us half the stand. And I honestly don't get how. Well, I'm just a supporter of everybody else, and I made the decision when we get put down. I went to a lot of the away games with the lower leagues, but I thought when we get back to the SPL, I'll not go to any more away games, because I'm not going to give any money to the clubs that tried to kill us. And I've stuck to that. I've never been to an away game. I wouldn't go to Hampden either, because I thought they're just as bad. I know somebody will take my ticket. I wish nobody would, but because the only way you can send out a message is by saying, we're going to starve your money. I mean, look at the carry on there was it last season when a lot of the teams were complaining that they were only getting to play us once at home. And there was a big kerfuffle with all these wee teams struggling, scrambling about saying, "Oh, we want to play Rangers again. We want to play Rangers again." That's after trying to kill us, after voting to kill us off. So it really annoys me. But I completely get the other side of the coin is the players need your support and all the rest of it. And people like going to games. I like going to away games, but I still like going to away games, but I just won't go because I take it personally what they try to do is.
I find it hard. I find it hard to tell the young boys they can't go because we went, and that's what I find hard to preach to them.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go. It's a different era and we're in a different war this now. But look, I think the young men will sort it out for themselves because the young boys who are club are intelligent enough. But what they did miss was the 1992-93 season. I would argue, apart from 2008, was potentially our greatest season, maybe in our history, and how unlucky we were, and obviously what came out. What made you write that book, and what did you think, and how did it develop?
The reason I wrote that book was because, like you said, I think it's the greatest season in living memory. I think it's we were so close to being invincibly, but I thought we were just, some of the players we had, some of the games we had were memorable. We weren't going and beating teams 7 and 8-0, and we were skating through in a lot of games, but we had that togetherness, and then you had the whole European run. To play 10 games in the European Cup / Champions League and remain unbeaten, I thought was fantastic. I thought that can hardly be bettered. So, and we had so many injuries to key players that season. We were walking wounded by the time we came down to clinching the league title. I think it was Airdrie. Gary McSweggan scored the one that won us the league. And by that time I'd written the 1986 book, and the sort of format I had got for that was, and I tried to disguise it to make it look like a diary, because I think personally diaries can be quite bland. There's June, there's July, there's August. So I did about 12 chapters, and it really was sort of one for each season, or maybe there's another couple of chapters thrown in if there anything exceptional had happened at that time. And then I tried to intersperse that with an interview with somebody that had played a sort of a leading part in that season. And I think that format works quite well, because when you're interviewing guys like Peter Hooster and Gary McSweggan and guys like that played a big... I wanted to speak to these guys rather than Alan McCoist and Mark Hateley and people like that, simply because there's been an awful lot written about Ally McCoist and Mark Hateley, but maybe not so much written about Gary and Peter Houston, people like that. So I could then make it look like their chapter was like a mini biography as such. It wasn't just all about that season, and I thought that made it quite interesting as well. And I thought it was quite a successful formula, and it let me write about great experiences I've had with Rangers, and then it let me interview all these people that I'd watched. I mean, I remember Peter Houston was over for one match, commentating, I think, for Rangers TV, and I phoned David Mason, the historian at Rangers, and I says to him, David, I says, is Peter Houston here? He went, I interviewed him yesterday. I says, I'd really like to interview him for the book. He says, no, he's away back today. And he told me the hotel he was in, so I just phoned the hotel on spec. They says, it was one of these boutique hotels that doesn't have telephones in the room. I says, well, can I leave my number and can you ask Peter to phone me? Just no thinking he will. 5 minutes later, he phones me up and I say to him, tell him what I'm doing and I'd love to speak to him. He says, we're flights at such and such. I had just enough time to jump in the car, drive into the town, interview him, and he agreed to hang back before they flew home. And we had 15, 20 minutes together, and it was fantastic. Just things like that. Just, the players really buy into it and stuff, and then when it's finished, I'll get his address and send him a book over to Holland and stuff like that. And guys like Ali Maxwell, rather than speak to Andy Gorham, who's everybody's spoken to, speak to Ali Maxwell. How was it for Ali Maxwell having to play second fiddle to Andy Gorham? But Ali Maxwell, smashing guy, felt as if he'd won the lottery by going to Rangers and didn't mind playing second fiddle to Andy Gorham because he was learning a lot of arguably our greatest ever goalkeeper. And guys like that, I wanted to get their perspective rather than the big hitters, and met Archie Knox up in my local shopping centre and asked him if I could interview him for the book. He went, I'm on, we'll go for a cup of tea. We did it there and then, because I'm a sad guy that always carries my dictaphone about me.
Where do you sit in the whole scandal that happened that season? What's your views on that? Because I don't want to sound bitter, but I am.
About Europe, the Marseille thing?
Yeah, what would have happened if that happened to, say, I'll use an example, what would have happened if that happened to another team in our city? Would have still been hearing about it?
But Partick Thistle don't ever get into Europe.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Sorry. No, I know. But then we're getting up there in the paranoia stakes, aren't we? Well, I know I am. I don't know about anybody else, but I remember speaking to, and I won't name this guy because he didn't want to go on the record, but he was a director at Rangers at the time, and he told me, I was researching that book, and he then withdrew what he told me, right? And I'll tell you what he told me, because I'm not going to name the guy. He says, we were sitting the night before the match, right before the Rangers-Marseille match, when we drew 2-2 with them. He says, and we're sitting in the Blue Room having dinner like we always did the night before with European guests. He says, and Bernard Tappy said to me, can I have a word with you outside? He says, and we stood at the top of the marble staircase, and he said to me, can I just ask you, what's more important? Is it money for Rangers, or is it Champions League points, or what is it? He says, Marseille are a very rich club, and they'll be very generous if it comes to, you suggesting that you might want some money for the Rangers bank account. And the person in question says to him, he says, there's 3 things we can do here. He says, you can turn round and go right back in. He says, have your dinner and we'll kid on that this conversation never happened. He says, 2, he says, you can walk down these stairs, walk out our stadium and never come back. He says, or 3, he says, I'll boot you down the stairs. He says, and you'll be taken away in an ambulance. Right? And
I went for the third one.
Well, sadly, he chose the first one and went back in and got on with his frog's legs. So that was, and then, so I thought, that's fantastic, I can use this in the book. And then I was asked about 3-4 weeks before I finished the book, couldn't put that in. So I said, right, okay, because that's not the kind of person I am, So I said, right, okay. But it was frustrating for me because to me that summed everything up. To me, you could just have put a big guilty stamp in his head. Now, they never get anything done to them in Europe that year, even though this same person told me that he'd spoke to a Russian delegate for CSKA Moscow at a future Champions League draw, and he'd said, the words he used were, Mr. Tappy, Monsieur Tappy is very generous, right? Now, that's guilty. That's nothing other than guilty. Now, if I'm sitting here in a Houston Tiff cart and I know that, then how was that no used at the time against these people? Now, they lost the league title that year, I believe, because they get done by.
I think the name's still on the European Cup now.
It is, and it shouldn't be. It should not be because
at the time, would you accepted a replay against AC Milan?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
you mean kick them out and we play the final?
Yes.
Aye. And let's be honest, if Marseille could beat them, we must have had a chance of beating them. Even though they're big hitters at the time, and I believe it was Basil Bully that scored the winning goal, or the only goal in the cup final. So that left a really sour taste in it, and it still does every time you think about it, because these guys were cheated.
They've accepted it with dignity, but maybe we've got to learn from that. So then we move on to one of your famous books, and what a story. Well, lately, The Journey it's been called. Was it you?
Oh, aye.
Is The Journey? Because that's what everybody knows us. We're not at the end of this journey yet. We'll know at the end of this journey we have that flag back flying where it should be. It's coming. But was you coined the phrase The Journey? Well,
I felt, and I know we also called it The Journey Mission Accomplished, and that was just getting back in the SPL. Because I'd felt that 4 years down, maybe in hindsight, maybe the journey, maybe Mission Accomplished is certainly wrong, but I just had this.
At the time it was, yeah. You can only write.
Well, it was, it was, but Rangers had brought out a book. Remember, Rangers brought out a book, and I think it was Lindsay Hearn, and Lindsay pulled me up one day and he says, The Journey? And I says, aye, well, we just couldn't come up with anything else. Sounds terrible, but I just wanted. It was supposed to be initially Willie Vass's photographs, and Willie's, as you know, he's got fantastic photographs. And I said to him, look, I think it would be better if we did this as a sort of landscape format book, hard copy, and lots of photographs. I says, but words as well. And he says, right, okay. And he said to me, he went, I was at a couple of days later. He said to me, I was at a photo call today. And Ali McCoy was here. He says, Nally's going to do the forward. And I says, no. I says, this can't have any input for the club at all. I says, this can't have any input. I says, this has got to be photographs taken by a Rangers fan and words by a Rangers fan. I says, because I says, the minute you start making these things an official club publication, I says, I think it defeats the purpose. Then you can't say this and you can't say that. And I wanted to let off some steam about what I thought about the SFA and certain clubs within, our football structure in this country. And I wanted to let off some steam, and I think I did. Should have been called The Journey. Well, it was a journey, but I suppose you're right, Ox. It was only part of the journey, because we're no back to where we once were and where we need to be again. In fact, we're still a wee bit off it. But
we're getting there. I think that was a great title, The Journey, because it's stuck now, and we'll all see where it takes us. Listen, mate, just to sum up, I've got a question I've been asked to ask you. I know some of your books you wrote. Fox wants to know who your favourite River City character is, mate.
I've got loads. After to tell you about the River City book, one of the best is got to be Stephen Putton, isn't it? I mean, who still wears his scarlet Craig Moore gave him in the Legends game with a load of pride. He was. I mean, I worked here for 6 years and we had a great time, and we got to know Stephen well. We used to go and play football and that together, and he's such a lovely guy and such a great Rangers man. And we had. I remember I was a prop man in River City for 6 years, and I remember one of the first episodes. Wee Bob gets off with Deke's mum, who was Lorraine McIntosh at Deacon Blue. And she was getting right heavy into the bevy at the time, so he went up and she snogs him and all that. It was brilliant. But then Deke finds out about it. He finds out his mate had snogged his ma, and I think they were only 14 at the time, and he kicked him down the stairs. So Bob was in a coma in hospital. So that's when we decided that we should make him a Celtic supporter just to noise him up. So we got the prop by a Celtic scarf, and we put it in his bed. So he can't say it because he's supposed to be in a coma. He was raging, absolutely raging. Sadly, it stuck, So there's been a few references in there, and he never lets me forget it. But listen, sometimes you've just got to have a wee go at people, and just have a laugh. But
fun.
But
listen, you want to put it out there and tell people where they could get the book, all your books, because there's some great reads out there for Rangers and River City fans as well.
Absolutely, that River City, that was a big coffee table coloured book. That was a cracking big book. But I've got a website which is www.jeffholmes.co.uk, which I've just updated today actually. But I'm going to update the homepage as well, because I've nearly finished the Mark Walters book, and I want to try and get that out there. I've been down Birmingham a couple of times speaking to Mark. Mark's been fantastic. In fact, we nearly got arrested about a fortnight ago. Was it? No, but when was the Legends match? It was a few weeks ago, wasn't it? And he was up for that, so I picked him up at his hotel on a Sunday morning. I said, what we'll do, I said, I need to grab I thought I'd finished with him, but I thought I'll need to grab another half an hour with you. So I picked him up and took him out to Glasgow Airport, and we were sitting in a wee industrial estate. And this guy comes along and says, can I park there, mate? I says, how no? I says, I park here all the time. Don't see any lines. That's under their jurisdiction now. Can I park there? I says, well, where can I go and park? I says, I'm trying to interview this guy. I says, before he gets his flight. Stop it, just at a roundabout behind that car down there. You can park in there. And I says, on a roundabout? He says, absolutely fine. He says, on a Sunday. I says, right, okay. So I goes down. And I'm sitting there. Next minute, the police come. What are you doing sitting in the roundabout? I says, I'm just interviewing this guy. You ain't get a smart ass. I'm like that. No, I says, I'm just having an interview before he goes and gets his flight. So you're sitting there, you're parked in a roundabout and you're parked in a double yellow line. Do you often do that, sir? And Mark says to him, well, listen, we're only trying to... He went, am I talking to you? And it started getting quite heated, and I thought, he's going to miss his flight. We're going to end up getting in jail, because I'm going to say something to the police I'm going to regret. And Mark says, I think we should move. And he says, I think you should. And I thought, here we go. That'll be good publicity for the book.
Last
Mark gets arrested. Aye.
Last question for you, Jeff. All the books you've done and all the interviews you've had, I'm not asking you who was the one that disappointed you, because I never think that's fair. Who's the guy that's matched all your expectations of all the characters you've spoke to?
Spoke to dozens and dozens and dozens. Obviously, Colin Stein was great when I spoke to him for the John Wallace book, but I tell you, do you know what? Marco Negri was really good because he was so honest. It wasn't one of these usual biographers where they say it was everybody else's fault by mine. He put his hand up and he says, look, I messed up a lot of the time. He says, the initial injury wasn't my fault. It wasn't done to me. It was just it was fate. I get whacked in the eye with a ball, squash ball. He went, but my attitude, he says, was stinking after that. He says, David Murray phoned me up one night and I chased him. He says, I should never have done that. He says, I've since apologised to a lot of people. He went, and that was quite refreshing. Quite refreshing to see a footballer say, I made a lot of mistakes, and so, but it has to be. No, it doesn't have to be John Gregg. John Gregg's a really difficult person to interview, because you've got to dig everything out of him. It's kind of hard work. I spoke to Bobby Russell for the 1986 book, and he was an absolute pleasure. My first Rangers European away game was against Eindhoven in 1978 when we won 3-2, and he scored the winner, obviously. So just to sit with Bobby and talk about that was just, it took me back to a great place, and he was an absolute gentleman.
And so have you been an absolute gentleman. On behalf of Rangers Radio, can I thank you for taking the time on and coming on our show and talking about your Rangers journey and talking about the people and the great books you've happened to write for our club. On behalf of the show, thanks very much, Jeff. It's been an absolute pleasure. But if you'd like...
thanks very much. Thanks very much, Ox, for asking me on.
When you finish the Mark Walters book, if you want to come on, and we'll definitely get a plug, mate, we'd be delighted to do that.
No problem. That would be great. I'd really like that. And I won't speak about getting nearly arrested again. No, there's quite a lot. There's quite a lot of good stuff in that book. I think there's a lot of... He wanted to call it Black and Blue, but I didn't think that was a good title simply because of the Birmingham City connection. Black and Blue would have been a great title, but he was Aston Villa, wasn't he? He wasn't Birmingham, so we decided, well, we're sort of going to call it Winging It, I think, or maybe something similar. But no, I would love to come back on when that's out.
Brilliant, mate. Can I thank you very much, and we'll look forward to that. And what another great player Matt Walters was for our club. So brave as a man and a player.
He was only a young boy, man. He was 23 when he played for us, so he was quite young.
Right. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Ox.
Cheers, mate.
See them march on, marching on through the years of history. Heads held on high, for the jersey they would do or die. Fight for right, play the game with the badge of glory. Win, lose or draw, that's the Glasgow Rangers story. See them march on, banners high as they fly before you, loyal and true, on the way to cheer the boys in blue. Follow they will, marching on to the songs of glory. Win, lose or draw, that's the Glasgow Rangers story. See them march on, banners high as they fly before you, loyal and true, on the way to cheer the boys in blue. Follow they will, marching on to the songs of glory. Win, lose or draw, that's the Glasgow Rangers story.
Well, you back with us, Bridgeman?
I am indeed, pal, yes. Absolutely.
How we doing, mate? How we doing, mate?
How we doing, mate? Aye, good.
Yeah. Well, a real exciting day in the Rangers history, but can you just thank Jeff for taking the time to come and join us, mate, eh?
That was great, really good. I thoroughly enjoyed that.
We could have been on all day, mate. Some of the books he's wrote at the time, his knowledge is superb, mate. Fox, you with us, mate?
I'm indeed, pal.
Aye.
Enjoyed that myself. I'll tell you what, I've got some stuff to blackmail you on when we talked about before this went on air anyway.
I don't know how to answer that, Bridgeman.
You know, I thought when he said, we need to watch because I don't want to get arrested. And I thought to myself, I was just about to say, thinking I was on the call, you know. I was just about to say, well, make sure you don't get with that Fox and Ox chair. You will get arrested.
It transpires your husband out with Ox chair, mate.
Is it?
Aye. It turns out they drank in the same company for years, mate.
You're joking?
No, man, no. They've got close personal friends together as well.
Oh, well then.
We didn't know, anyway. Small world, Fox. Small
world indeed.
Anyway, let's get back to events. But look, Jeff, you might be listening. Brilliant. Enjoyed it. Gentlemen, great to have him back on because I don't think we've scratched the surface there, Fox.
Oh, not at all, mate. My ears nearly popped when he was talking about a Rangers director was approached to be bribed. So much for dignified silence, mate. We should have been out there doing them right away. That must be a scoop, that, pal.
Bernard Tapia, did you pick up on that, Bridge?
I was on mute there, sorry. I did indeed. And you know, when you hear these things, you think to yourself, well, were these stories true? Absolutely. Once you hear what's been said there, absolutely. Absolutely true.
I don't think I've heard that story anywhere else myself, folks, honestly. I've heard a lot of rumours, but that's the first time ever I've heard that stated actually as gospel, mate, you know.
Aye, well, it was quite a shock, mate, obviously. People can put two and two together and take it any way they want, because there's only so many directors who were live at the time. I don't mean live, were actually directors at the time, so I don't think it would have been David Murray kicking them down the stairs, so that's one out the way. Now, Fox. Look, a lot happening at the club, a lot of rumours, a lot of stories. We're in the mainstream media, we're all over Sky. Thoughts, Bridgeman?
On what's happening in the rumours? Sort of, is there a specific? I would like to say on the rumours that we talked a wee bit earlier, the ones that I'm interested in are the two players that allegedly have been up at Ibrox today, or they're
done
be there tomorrow.
Done deals, Bridge. Told you.
You've told us yesterday, absolutely.
McGregor's.
McGregor's in the morning. Excite me. I'm just waiting in the official word coming out saying that they've signed in the dotted line and they'll be there come the begin the next season. I'll be happy.
That's old news, Bridge. We're moving on to new news. Fox, new news, leave him. He's been the old news. New news, Fox. What we making the Fox, what we making the new news?
What one? The Stephen Gerrard one, mate?
Absolutely.
Well, I don't know if that'll go through or no, mate, but whether it's been done for commercial reasons or on the football side, I wouldn't know, really, mate. But commercially, it would be outstanding for Rangers. On the football side, if it happens, I'm not so sure, mate, replacing one rookie manager by another. But we'll need to wait and see, mate. At the moment, it's just rumour. So, I don't know what the rest of you think.
What's your opinion, Bridge?
Obviously, I'm going by what you guys are saying, and there seems to be a wee bit doubt in your minds, the way you're thinking about it and talking about it. Personally, I'm very excited. It's the type of personality that I've been saying to the guys in the lobby and to anybody listening. As far as I'm concerned, I want a gigantic name to come to Rangers. That guy, there's not very many players bigger than him. That guy is massive box office. That there should fill Ibrox for the next 5 years to 10 years. No problem at all. It is just unbelievable. What news? So excited. It's like when Gaza come up. It's like when Graham Souness come in. It's these things. This is the thing that could excite everybody. God forbid that it all falls through, because the Rangers fans will be very excited. I'm sure I am anyway. And I'm really keen on it. I know there's limitations. I know he's an inexperienced guy, but hell, we're being most of it. We've got Kashina. It turned out he's very inexperienced, yeah. And we've got Murty. So that's a whole season we went through with a mixture of, and even the guy before him and the guys before that again. So we've a whole load of people who've been inexperienced over the past 5 or 6 years. This guy, he should bring in the proper team. I'll be very happy. The proper team, Rangers need to look after him, need to make sure there's money there for whatever it is he wants to do, and the personnel with it, and I'll be very happy.
I think we just need to watch it. We don't put two and two together, we come up with 5 with this one. This is a wee bit different. It's purely speculation. Right. Anyway, folks, if people want to join us, what's the number?
0141 356 1972.
Or you can join us at Skype at RangersRadio.online. We brought into the call and talk about maybe today's events. First caller in off the rank this evening is Big Ulster. Evening, big man.
Hello, everybody. I enjoyed listening to that. That was a great interview. Well done. Congratulations to you on that one. And everybody involved in it. That was fantastic.
I was another gentleman. We've been lucky with the people we've came across. They've been absolutely star turns, the people we've met through the interviews. Listen, what's your views on today's events, big man?
Everything's going mental. Last night it was, I think the news sort of broke, and then it's run from there, and it's been on TalkSport, it's been on Sky Sports News, it's been on sort of worldwide, you know. It's, as Bridget said, it's a massive name. World renowned, Stephen Gerrard, everybody in the world in football knows him, and probably, you know, it's The only thing that would worry me, obviously, is the inexperience. But as Bridge says, if he was to bring a good backroom staff worker there to help him along, I've no doubt, obviously, like Stephen Gerrard could hopefully, get some of the best talent out there and persuade them to come to Rangers if he got backing from the board financially. And you never know, it could be exciting times for us.
Mm-hmm. It's not the first time he's took the title off of Brendan Rodgers, is it?
Snippy G.
I like it.
It's a conspiracy. But...
Anyway, we've also been joined by Wheels. How we doing, Wheels?
How are we, guys? All right?
All right, mate. How's
yourself?
Listen, I think this is an absolute masterstroke. I really do. I'm going to be honest. I think this is a genius move. Now, this is how I'm seeing it. Who better to topple Brendan Rodgers than the man who played under him for years, knows him inside out, knows how he plays, knows how he thinks. Absolute genius move, if you ask me, if it works. And as far as the experience thing goes, did Graham Souness have any experience? Walter Smith had very little experience. So, just because he's inexperienced doesn't mean he's going to fail.
I get you coming from, Gary. Every manager's a gamble and such, but I think a lot of supporters would have been looking for, I mean this with the greatest of respect, a safer pair of hands and a manager way more experience, only because what we've witnessed in the last, say 4 managers, 3 the stand-in manager, it's not been great, but look, it's all about opinions, and I think this would set the club on fire, and from a publicity point of view. Fox?
I'm going to try and hang back with this, mate, because we've only spoke to the guy. Doesn't mean we've offered him the job. He's on a short list, mate. We could actually be offering him a number 2 spot under another manager, mate, for all we know. As you say, his lack of experience is a big hindrance to us. I think most of the Rangers support are looking for an experienced campaigner, mate, to sort the club out a wee bit. Maybe an appointment like that for me in a couple of years' time would be more in line, but at the moment it's no my first choice. But us fans don't really have a say in it, and we'll just need to wait and see how this story develops.
Mm-hmm. Nothing's happened really yet, is it? They're only a fishing exhibition, a fishing trip, Bridge.
Yeah. Look, the thing is that the press and the media are going absolutely crazy about it because this is massive. But the thing is, tomorrow and the next day, it cools down and it becomes a very, very, very quickly becomes a negative. And it really, this is what they'll do. They're a good story for Rangers at the moment, very positive at the present moment. But somehow that'll all change. So Rangers need to work some magic.
We'll see where it develops.
It'll take a couple of weeks.
We'll be joined by a caller. Evening, caller.
Hi guys, how's it going? Ibrox John 76 here.
How you doing, John?
Hello, John. How's it going, bud?
Very good. Just back from a few weeks in Australia.
All right for summer.
How many weeks?
Lovely.
Just over 3, Bridge.
I hate you, by the way.
So my boy's been there for 45. He's been there for 45.
One of the best things was I missed all of our games all the way. I was cringing every time I got a bit of signal when I was out and about in the outback, and I was going, oh God, looking at the screen through the cracks in my fingers. It was brutal. But
they're making a remake of that well-known Australian film.
Oh, Wolf Creek?
No.
Crocodile Dundee?
No.
What's he talking about? Neighbours.
Anyway, what's your mind on with the football, John?
Oh, just listening to the guys. I mean, I think I'm the same. I've got mixed feelings about the whole Steven Gerrard thing. I mean, I've never really liked him. I didn't like a lot of the off-field stuff he was getting involved in over the years. He's been involved in a lot of punch-ups, up the floor. I don't know if that's the kind of stuff that's becoming of a Rangers manager or head coach for him. But having said that, the case for is that he is this big name. He has spoken very highly of Rangers. He's got the usual. I think that
we're losing you, Jim.
We're losing you, John. We're losing you. You're breaking up.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now, mate.
Yeah. He hasn't talked about how he used to listen to Rangers games on his tranny or anything, but he used to work under one.
Well.
That's quite good, that, actually.
That's why now you see what you did there.
Thanks,
Bridge. I love that. Well done, buddy. I like it.
But look, yeah,
Who would your choice be if it was you and you were picking it?
Diego Simeone.
All right, okay.
But in the real world, I don't know. I don't fancy who's that boy? Neil Alex Neil. Don't fancy him. Neil Warnock would bring something. He'd bring a kind of old school steeliness and old school managerial perspective on things. But he's less risky than Gerrard. Gerrard's untried, but it's been mentioned before. As soon as the same kind of circumstances, same kind of age. And I was even thinking before, would Gerrard even pull his boots on to playing Scottish football?
I think you're done. John, we keep losing you, mate, so we'll try and get that sorted and we'll come back to you, alright, mate?
I'll check my connection, mate, no worries.
Alright, smashing, mate. Did you see this coming, Ulster? I mean, even, I'm still, don't know if it'll happen, but even the two players we've signed is maybe looks as if we're going to sign tomorrow, is an improvement in quality going forward, in my opinion.
Well, if somebody had said to me at the start of this week that you're going to be getting Alan McGregor back, Scott Ardfield from Burnley, who's played a lot of games this season, is a very good player, and you'd be talking to Steven Gerrard for the manager role, I've said, because we're having a laugh, But it just shows you how things work in football. Just to add on John's point there, he was just on the wee book away there, he was speaking a wee bit about Neil Warnock. So I was listening to the TalkSport today, because obviously Jim Wade had brought it up. This was the big story. And funny enough, when they were talking about it, there was pros and there was cons. But Ray Parter, funny enough, he threw up. It was him who actually threw up Neil Warnock's name. And he was sort of pushing for the Neil Warnock thing. He thinks that Neil Warnock would be a great appointment. So it was interesting just to hear different people, from down south talking about Rangers, about the situation, and big, legends like Ray Parter were speaking very highly of the club and the size of our club. So it was a great listen today. So it was a positive news for once coming out.
Yeah, it's made a difference, Fox, innit? And I think the fans deserve a wee bit of positivity.
As I was saying, mate.
Sorry, Foxy boy.
As I was saying, mate, commercially it makes a lot of sense, but knowing the football side for me. But if he does come in, of course, he gets the support of all Rangers fans, mate. But I think it's merely getting us onto the world stage, mate, because of the press in a lot of countries. You need to remember, Gerrard is probably one of the best midfielders in the last 20 years, mate. And
fabulous.
It would be a fantastic coup for us if we had the money to spend, mate. The thing is, have we got the money for a mistake? That's what worries me,
Depends
mate,
if you look at it half empty or half full, because Simeone, Warnock, let's not kid yourself, it's all sometimes the bounce of the ball, football, Gary.
I was just going to say, right, it would be his first job in management, obviously, right? Now, this is how I look at it. He's not going to want to risk his reputation with his first job. He's wanting to obviously go off to a good start. Now, I've seen that he's only going to take the job or consider taking the job if he's getting assurances in terms of finances. So, if he gets those, think of the names that he could bring in just because of who he is.
But the point Fox is making, these names have to be paid for.
That's what I'm saying, though. He wouldn't risk taking the job if he wasn't going to get the financial assurances. So if he takes it, that to me would lead me to believe that there is money there to be spent.
Well, that's a good point. Bridgman?
Well, everybody's got fears and worries about it. I think it's complete box office, and I hope to goodness that Rangers, if they get the chance, that they go for this. Obviously, providing it's no way out of our league, you know. But if it's there and he's had a talk with them, then they have to make their mind up and let the fans know one way or the other if it's going to happen, in my opinion. But, you know, Wheels is right there when he says this is going to happen and he'll attract, just like Souness did, he'll attract good name players, people who want to come up and play for him. He's going to come up here, and you know what's going to happen to Rangers. Rangers' profile is going to go through the roof. It's going to go through the roof. It's BBC in the UK, and all BBC Scotland, and all this crap up here. They'll all be desperate to get into Ibrox to interview Steven Gerrard, what his press conferences are going to be like. The place is going to be jumping. They all want to know what it's like. That's what I want.
Yeah, initially. Anyway, we've been joined by Rudy Bear, who's just finished his dinner.
You finished the cheese.
Hey, doing Rudy?
Right. Hi, guys.
Hi, Rudy.
Right. I'll start. How you doing, fella? The Steven Gerrard thing, it's interesting to say the least, isn't it, really? I mean, there's lots of positives about somebody like Steven Gerrard coming in. You know, Bridge was just making a good point there. You know, the club's standing will go through the roof, really. You know, he was a world-class footballer, Steven Gerrard. And the thing, it's the no experience thing. That's the thing that's kind of, you know, I'm a bit worried about, is the fact that we're going for an under-20s manager to an under-18s manager, you know. I do think if he does take the job, as Bridge was saying about the finances as well, I think if he takes the job, he's been promised a decent sort of war chest, or for a want of a better word. He's been promised a decent amount of money to bring players in. He'll want to bring players in, there's no doubts about that. Any new manager would want to bring players in. I think it's, in a way, it's as much as I'm worried about it as well, it's totally out the box for me, because I never seen this coming, to be honest. I thought we'd have went for an old style manager, and I know it's all just rumour just now, and you know, but if he comes in, it's definitely thinking outside the box for me, and it's going to go either.
I get where you're coming, but you can say that. I get this. You can go one way or the other, but you can say that about any manager coming.
That's right, of course. I mean, every manager is a risk, isn't it? You know, I would like to think that if he comes in, the Rangers support will get right behind him. If that's the case, if he does come in as manager,
I don't doubt that, mate. I don't doubt that. The club will implode, mate, but in a positive way. I think there's potential for him possibly coming in as a number 2 that Fox is interrated, but you never know, mate. You never know.
I mean, but Gary makes a good point as well. Souness had no managerial experience when he came in, and when he came into the club, look at the boost. I mean, because before Souness came in, like yourself, Ox, you know, I was sitting at Ibrox with about 14,000 other bears, you know what I mean, watching Rangers playing really bad football, you know, and it just exploded. And we're on the verge of something like that happening again, possibly on the verge of something like that happening again, you know. Gary makes a good point about the fact that, you know, if anybody knows how to combat Brenda on the other side of the city, it's the guy who played for him, you know. So it's got its positives and negatives for me, you know. Kind of excited about the prospect to it, but a wee bit worried about the lack of experience.
Aye, that's a fair comment. Are you back with us, John?
If you can hear me now.
Yeah, we can, mate. Loud and clear, mate. Loud and clear.
Excellent. Do you think they'd make an announcement on him before Sunday's game?
If I was the club, I would have everything set up for Monday.
Yeah. Do you think it would have a negative impact on Sunday?
No, because then if Sunday's negative, you can blitz it on Monday.
Yeah, good point.
That's what I would do if I was a club.
Can I say something there, Rox, if you don't mind?
On you go.
I would do it on Sunday morning, if I'm honest with you. I think it would give us a boost going into the game, and then it would annoy them because the papers would be plastered with it rather than what may happen depending on the result. I think it would annoy the life out of them if we'd done it on Sunday morning.
And you know the other reason why is because they all think he's a right Celtic man. There was a guy on the other night he's going, "Oh, what do you think about Stevie G? He's a right Celtic man." And even Guidi was saying, "What do you mean? What do you mean by a real Celtic man?" And he's trying to explain it, and obviously couldn't. But it would wind them up big time.
I don't know. I don't think he is, because every time I've seen Steven Gerrard, he looks quite smart, tidy and clean. No smell.
So daily, I've heard.
No smell whatsoever. No smell whatsoever.
Ox, just off subject for a wee second, if you don't mind, mate. This was quite funny.
It better be funny than you're putting it out there. It's funny.
I know we
don't. You're going to get slaughtered.
I know we don't talk about Snide One often, but I happened to be listening last night, and Alex Ray was there.
I did hear about this last night.
Aye, and he was there was a Celtic fan on talking about Scott Brown playing against them, and Alex Ray hits out with, "I let him out of my pocket after Helicopter Sunday, so he could be the player he is today."
Good shout, Alex. Good shout, Alex. Fox, where are you standing on the players we've signed? We'll go to Bridge next with that. Well, potentially signed. Looks as if they've done deals.
I like the look of the boy Arfield, mate, and what pleases me more is Sean Dyche trying to keep him there. So he still must be in good form as a player. I've read reports saying he's a good leader in the dressing room as well, mate. I quite like that. Alan McGregor, mate, he'll be either salt or sugar to most of the Rangers support, mate. But again, another man that can command for the back. And we need experienced players like that just now, mate.
Bridgeman?
I can't disagree with that. I think that, although in all honesty, much as I've still got a thing against McGregor and the rest of the guys that walked away to a certain extent, and McGregor will be, I think, more welcome than the Laffertys and the wee what do you call him? That boy went to Hearts. Never mind, doesn't matter. But these two that are playing with Hearts are totally unwelcome, and we don't even want to bring them in if they can play against them. But I think McGregor will be welcome back, but he needs to come out and tell the Rangers fans. But yeah, he's going to be a massive improvement as a goalkeeper. What I've seen anyway. I know that Wes Fotheringham's not a bad keeper, but he's nowhere near the same quality and class as Alan McGregor when he's on his game. And he's only 36, 35, 36, maybe even 37. He's still quite comparatively young for a goalkeeper. And, he's a really good shot stopper. No problem there. No problem.
All right. Rudy?
I'm pretty happy with it, to be honest. Scott Arfield, I think, has played 20-odd games for Burnley this season, and you saw how well Burnley have done, So he's been a big part of their plans this season. Like Fox saying, Sean Dyche has wanted to keep him there, but he's obviously he's a bit homesick, wants to get back to Scotland. I think it's a great acquisition, to be honest, just the kind of midfielder we're needing. That'll be added to come the summer, obviously. McGregor, look, man, see if he pulls off a couple of cracking saves, it will not take the Bears long to come round to him, the ones that are against him just now, and I've saw a wee bit in social media. For me, he wasn't, for me, he's no Stephen Naismith, so that's all right. I'm all right with it. And as far as improving in the goal in between the post goes, he's a way better goalkeeper than Wes is. I saw Wes on thing the other day, and on social media saying he's going nowhere. Well, might not have that option. Might not be up to him come the summer. We've got Liam Kelly there. We've got the young boy McCrory who's out on loan at the moment. These are good young goalkeepers, Rangers goalkeepers. They'll be wanting to make their mark. And under somebody like Alan McGregor, they could learn lots and lots off of him. And I said last night, he's an international goalkeeper. Wes is never going to be that. As simple as that. He's just no go at it. I don't think Wes will be an international goalie. So I'm really happy with these two. The boy MacArthur, the rumours are quite strong about the boy MacArthur, though I would imagine there'll be other clubs sniffing about him, because he is a touch of class. He's a class player, the boy MacArthur. I would love to see that happen as well. But so far, happy with that centre-back, because these centre-backs are going to be looked at, man, come the summer.
Anyway, we've also been joined by Rudy. We've been joined by, I think it's Denver on the phone. Denver?
That's right, guys. How are we today?
All right, Denver.
Hi, Denver.
Can I ask Denver, did you have a problem getting through there?
I did, I don't know what happened. I could hear you really, really faint.
That's so the best way you hear them.
Right, thanks, mate. I'm trying to fix the phone now. Some callers are getting in and some aren't. Thanks.
And we've also been joined by George. Evening, George. We'll go to Denver, George, then we'll come back to you, mate. All right?
No bother.
All right, on you go, Denver. Get your thoughts. Somebody's doing the typing in the background. Go on mute, please. On you go, Denver. Get your thoughts.
Again, I'm unsure about Gerrard. I still would like, I said the other day, Sean Dyche, he can bring Arfield up with him, and then we're good to go. I don't see why we can throw the money at Steven Gerrard, who's got no experience yet. We've got a quality manager there, Sean Dyche. He'll be on the same money as Gerrard, I would imagine, so that would be my choice. As for Alan McGregor, no for me.
Is that because of previous or because his age and injuries?
Just because I don't think it's nothing to do with what he said or how he left or anything. I just don't believe. I think we're the only club in the world who keeps looking back the way. We need to look forward, and that's
a point of view, mate. That's a point of view, yeah. The boy Arfield, you all right with that?
I've no idea. I've no idea about the boys' play, but I'll take all your guys' word for it. And Sean Dyche wants to keep him, so that's good enough for me,
Remember, Bridgestow Alves was the greatest centre-half the world has ever seen.
Well, me and Bridge were together then.
All right, okay. Evening, George. How we doing, mate?
How you doing, Ox? All right?
All right, mate. What's your thoughts? News is coming thick and fast, mate.
Aye, I mean, still a bit if buts and maybes like about it, but if Stevie G's to be named the manager, then I'll do the exact same as done with Pedro and that. I think he's a bit inexperienced to take a job like Rangers, but that scumbag job across the road and done no pad, and that was his first job. We had the likes of Graham Souness coming in with our first job and things like that, done no bad, so I'm not going to decry the guy before he's had any, before he's even kicked a ball or we've even found out what kind of players he's got to get that up. We'll need to give him the benefit of the doubt. And I seen the interview the night, I heard the interview the night with Sean Dyche talking about Scotty Arfield leaving, and he said he can't stand in the guy's way. He's gone to his boyhood heroes. I've been saying for months, I tell you months ago about the boy being a Rangers fan.
You did, mate.
Everybody's saying, he's a Celtic fan, he's a Celtic fan.
He's shoot your way, isn't he?
For Livingston, 5 minutes for me. And he says, so that's another Rangers fan in the thing. I think that's if we get that out of the line, I think the medicals in the process of going through the new, if we get that out of the line, Ox, I think that's a cracking sign. And like I think it was Bridgeman or Rudy said there, Big McGregor at the back, we've not had somebody commanding at the back. He'll command, he'll roar. And our centre-halves, obviously, want the best centre-halves you can possibly get, but our centre-halves will only need to be as good as what we're expecting, because we've got a big commanding centre-half, a big commanding goalkeeper at the back, Ox, who's got to deal with all this at the back. So if we get this out of the line, I think that's two cracking signings. And obviously it's the football director of football is dealing with this. So there's things happening, Ox. There's things to be positive. For me, I'd let it come out next week. If they're going to win the league next week, let them win the league. But we deal with their own business. Get it in the papers next week.
Aye, Monday for me, mate. Monday for me. That's just the way I'm thinking.
That's what I would do, aye.
John,
yes.
Are you surprised how quickly this has came about? I mean, obviously, we were on one of these 10 days ago. After that performance at Hampden that you luckily missed.
I was back for it. And,
right, okay.
It was just shocking.
And then we've all of a sudden we've bounced back really quickly. And is this springboard going to take us to the next level?
Well, I think the guys have mentioned it before. If we get Gerrard in and there's serious investment with his contacts particularly across England, we might have a chance. We might have a chance next year, really putting in a really, really good challenge. And as Bridge said before, his real box office. there's still a side of me that, says he's a big risk, and a side of me doesn't like him as well, but goodness me, the fans will be really, really up for it, and the thing is, we'll sell that stadium out no matter what. But it's a huge risk. But I'm kind of excited about it as well. You just never know, and I look at the comparisons with Souness as well. He came up from Liverpool at around the same age, player manager, and won the title in his first season.
All right, John, we're losing you again, believe it or not.
Right, I tell you what, I'll restart my laptop, mate. I'll come back in. Okay.
All right, cheers, buddy. Thanks very much, mate. Bridgeman, did you see this coming?
No, I did not. No, I think we even joked about it. I actually think it was Rudy that said something about it. Or was it Liebrook's lawyer said he saw the betting for for Gerrard. He went favourite to come to Ibrox and things like that. You think a kind of joke, why on earth would someone of that stature want to come to Rangers? But there you go. We've actually spoke to him. It's fingers crossed for the Bridgeman, and I'm hoping all the Rangers fans are, if not physically doing it, they're mentally doing it. I can't see very many Rangers fans not wanting it to happen. Let's put it that way. There will be some. Some say, well, we're not too keen because he's a Celtic fan or for whatever other reason. Personally speaking, he's massive, massive box office. He will put many, many millions of pounds into Rangers coffers. Him coming here, the press, the world press will be at our door. We'll be all over the world, name-wise. Our profile will go sky high again. This is the team that's came back for the dead, type of thing, and that's the way they'll play it. Brought them back for the bottom division.
You see me have a done deal, Bridge. I don't know if it is.
No, I'm saying I'm hoping it's a done deal. If it happens, that's the kind of thing I expect. I'm under no illusions at all. They've only spoke to him, and I never expected him to speak to him. I thought it's only the bookies betting that's made it favourite. I never expected this. Never expected it.
Wheels, I think you're very, very glad. And what about the players signed so far, or potentially signed so far? Are you pleased with them?
I mate, our field I'm quite pleased about, and as the guys have said earlier, the fact that Sean Dyche wants to keep him, that kind of says it all. McGregor, out of all the players that kind of walked away in that, he is the only one that I would welcome back. I think he's what we need at the back. I'm a big fan of Wes, always have been, but I do think we need, just that bit of command at the back. Do you know what I mean? So I think McGregor would be a great signing to come back.
Wales. I'm saying this, I'm preaching to the converted. I know you're right. When Wes Faird at Fodder he is a good goalkeeper. There's no doubt in it. But he's got weaknesses, and we all see the weaknesses, and we just wish, can we train him better? Will he be the goalkeeper to take Rangers all the way forward to where they want to go? Well, he's taken us quite a way. Here we are, sitting second in the league, given what's happened to us this season, and the last season, and the seasons before that. And here we are, sitting second in the league, quite a distance behind the leaders, but nevertheless, got a good chance. Saturday, a big 6-pointer, Sunday, a huge 6-pointer in the league, and that might put a dent in their hopes as well. So if we win it, the way things are, with our record against the particular last game we played, we didn't play very well. So, but the thing is, if we turn up, there you go. And here, this is all happening. You're like that, and still the goalkeeper isn't the best goalkeeper in the world. In fact, he's injured, so we're going to have to play with a reserve goalkeeper. Yeah, I would suggest Mr. McGregor will be a massive improvement for going the goalkeeping stakes, and may actually assist, because we don't have a goalkeeping coach, so he may actually assist helping Wes and the other boys through. You never know.
I see what you're saying there, Bridge. I mean, for me, Wes is a fantastic shot stopper. Where he worries me is with the ball at his feet. That's where he worries me.
Oh, Gary, he's got loads of flaws in his game, mate.
Aye.
I mean, if the ball's going across him, the ball's down on the left-hand side, mate. If you take the first goal, we lost at Hampden.
But he's got a lot of positives to his game. He's got a great leap. He makes acrobatic saves, usually to his right-hand side. You know, we can all see the flaws in his game, mate, and we've seen so many
long shots as well.
So many shots for 20 yards, getting particularly for the right to the left-hand side, getting in the corner. You think, how did that get in the net? Rudy Bear?
He's got loads of flaws, Wes. And that's one of the reasons why, I mean, he's still fairly young as goalkeepers go, but that's one of the reasons why I say he's never going to be an international goalkeeper like McGregor. He would never get there. But McGregor's just a huge upgrade on Wes, in my opinion. And that's one of the reasons why I'm happy about him coming in. I don't know how many times this season, and last season, but I don't know, especially this season, I don't know how many times I've watched him picking the ball at the back of the net and thought to myself, he should have done way better there. For a big guy, he doesn't seem to command the box the way he should do. And Gary is right about the ball at his feet. He's no confident. I'm not so sure Alan McGregor would be good at that either, though, because Alan McGregor's a kind of old-style goalkeeper, Don't know how he's been coached in there, in the few years he's been in there. But for me, it's just a total upgrade. We spoke about this 2 or 3 weeks ago about bringing players in. You said yourself, Fox, what you bring in is going to be better than the guy that's in that position they knew, and that's what McGregor is. He's better than Wes.
Fair comment, Big Ulster.
Yeah, I think that's if everyone's making fair comments. Like, the problem for Fodder is he is a good shot stopper at times, but very rarely you get that. You never get those games where you go, Jesus, how did he save that? It's not. He doesn't bring those sort of world class saves off for me enough. Well, we've seen McGregor down the years, and he's he done that all through his career. There was games there that shots that you're thinking, how did that not go in? But somehow McGregor seemed to get to it. So yeah, definitely an upgrade on the goalkeeping. Arfield is a fantastic player that has probably the best league in the world. The manager at Burnley, who's had a fantastic season, was keen to keep him and still is. So that tells you, proves what kind of class of player we're getting at Scott Arfield. So I think that's 2 fantastic signings, and well done to obviously Mark Allen for getting these 2 boys in. I think it's a fantastic bit of business.
George, the goalkeeper, I'm happy we improved our squad. Forgetting about who it is, I'm just happy we've improved. Looks as if we've improved our first team goalkeeper. We've still got this flaw at centre half, mate, and it'll be interesting what the new manager, whoever he is, does about that.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I think, in my honest opinion, you've got a guy coming up here. It was easy saying Joey Barton done the same thing, came up, but yeah, I think you've got a guy coming up here who plays in our midfield, who's got to play in our midfield, who's a possible captain, in my honest opinion. So you're possibly signing a midfielder and a captain. You're signing the first team goalkeeper for me. The guy that plays doing the Premiership, I think he's played 43, 44 games this season. He's got to be your goalkeeper. So I mean, there's a wee boy Cummins got to sign. So you're actually signing the cut to your team already. You're halfway. You're into. So what you're saying is you need two big centre halves now. So that's where you've got to focus and get these 2 centre halves in. Wherever these guys have got to come from, I think we've got enough. I mean, Stevie Gerrard isn't my first choice. There's no way he was probably anybody's first choice. But I think you've got made a chance of getting a centre half in coming for him. That's got to succeed in Britain, and no offence to anybody that suggests him, than a Ronaldo or a Frank de Boer or something like that, because they guys are coming for Holland, but then it came out how they're going to come to British football. Whereas the guys that Stevie Gerrard and that are going to look at, and Mark Allen, they're going to be British-based guys, so we would like to think they're just to the rough and tumble of British football, Scottish football, so I think you've made a chance of succeeding with these guys. Big Alves should have succeeded when he came here, but he wasn't ready for British football. Folk running him, pushing him, biting him, doing all this kind of, he wasn't ready for that. The big Cardozo wasn't ready for that as well, so I'd like to think if we get a guy like that in, and we get 2 big centre halves that are going to be British made, and I think that's what we need at this time, British made centre halves. 6'8", as Bridge would say.
Yeah, please.
John, John's back in. John's right. Back in.
You hear me, guys?
On you go, John. Give your thoughts. We're just talking about. Give your thoughts on the goalkeeper, and then the centre half situation.
Yeah, I mean, I love McGregor when he was in the side, but my concern now is the injuries that he's had since he left us, and I just hope that he'll be able to come back and get a consistent run of games with us. But he was a brilliant goalkeeper for us, and I'll never forget that save that he made from Samaras to effectively win us the title. I mean, that was a great moment. I mean, the roar that went up round Ibrox that afternoon was almost like we just scored a goal. So, great memories of McGregor and on our UEFA Cup run as well. So I don't have a problem with him coming back. I don't have any bad blood against him like I do with the likes of Whittaker and Naismith. The centre-half situation needs sorted out urgently. We need 2 top draw centre-halves. And that's non-negotiable. Any new manager coming in needs to sort that out. I don't know who we bring in. I don't know who we can afford. I don't know what level of investment we're getting, but that needs sorted out big time.
Hi, Wheels.
Yeah, it is all about the investment. I mean, like I said earlier, if it is going to be Stevie G, then he's not going to take it unless he's been promised the funds. So that'll tell if we do have the funds or not. But if we do, then I can only imagine the names that we could bring in. But yeah, the defence is where we need to. That should be the first step for me, is the central defence.
Yeah, can I come in on that one?
No.
No, okay.
I'll tell you why.
It's put time up, is it?
But on you go, cause it's you.
No, I think I can't say too much about this. I've said it so much. I echo what George said. I know it's a bit tongue in cheek, but I'm looking for a really, really big, huge centre half and a good partner to go with him. Somebody with a lot of speed, both of them a lot of speed. And if we're going to sign anybody else, please make them big, tall fellas, because we're really struggling with height. We really are. So I would like, if Mr. Gerrard comes in, that's what he should be looking at. People have a distinguished height.
Like a true centre half, Bridge.
Oh yeah, please.
Can I give you one quick last tweet before we go on?
Make it quick.
Right, just their last couple of minutes. Bruce Archer. Put up on his Twitter. Rangers hoping to reach a deal with Steven Gerrard after discussing personal terms and budgets. Gary McAllister could be his number 2. Not done yet, but club are hopeful.
All right, there we go, Bridge. Last word of the evening. On you go, mate. Make it brief.
What can I say? Can I just say this? Very exciting day for the Bridge, man. I hope other Rangers fans like it.
Make it brief.
Yes. To other Rangers fans all over the world, and particularly Rangers fans on here on Rangers Radio, it's been a very good evening. So please, keep it going for the Rangers. Everybody needs it. Keep it going.
Can I thank everybody who's took the time to phone in this evening? Can I thank Jeff Holmes for joining us earlier? Absolute pleasure to talk to Jeff and hopefully be back on talking about some more of his publications. Thank everybody for taking part in the lobby. This has been Rangers Radio. We'll be back tomorrow night between 9 and 11. You never know what we'll be talking about. Take it away, Fox.
Oh, every other Saturday's my half day off, and it's off to the match I go. Happily we wandered down the Copeland Road, me and my wee pal Joe. We love to see the lasses with the blue scarves on. We love to hear the boys all roar. But I don't have to tell you that the best of all, we love to see the Rangers score. Me, oh my. Oh, we love to see them cry. We love to see the lasses with the blue scarves on. We love to hear the boys all roar. But I don't have to tell you that the best of all, we love to see the Rangers score. We've won the Scottish League almost every time the League Cups assemble too. We get some exhibitions in the Scottish Cup. We are the Cup winners true. And when the Rangers win the European Cup, as we've done with the one before, we'll gather round the Ibrox 50,000 strong to to give the boys an eyebrow roar. Me, oh, me, oh, me, oh, my. Oh, how we love to see them cry. We love to see the lasses with the blue scarves on. We love to hear the boys all roar. But I don't have to tell you that the best of all, we love to see the Rangers score. Me, oh, me, oh, me, oh, my. Oh, how we love to see them cry. We love to see the lasses with the blue scarves on. We love to hear the boys all roar. I don't have to tell you that the best of all, we love to see the Rangers score.